Also, I need to clarify something. There are legitimately some people that believe we're from Texas because of the meme. We're from Australia, Bobby. We're from Australia. Aye. Shaking my head. But here we go. We are getting into our second series of the afternoon, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Gresvan, we have the Chinese Protoss player himself representing Team Starving Camels SSLT. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Gresvan, we have his opponent. We have the Canadian Zerg player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is Firefly. It is Scarlett. Last thing I heard about Korean Terrans is they're all depressed. That was a long time ago. That was like 2 months ago. Beyond Gumiho Cure, Maru, they're all playing and competing in a lot of these events, in Kung Fu Cup, in KSL. Again, it just happens to be that that here on the weekend they're not as available. What's going on? I don't know. Aye. But because of that, we do have the other races a little bit better represented. We do have a Dark, we do have a Hero as well, the best Zerg and the best Protoss players in Korea respectively. And they're going to be looking to make some deep runs, and they're going to be looking to have a rematch in the finals. There are some other names to stop them, like Scarlett, like Dongregyu, like Nice, like Jeshi, but we'll see if they really can. Oh boy. Before we get there, hatch gas pool openers here from Scarlett. Pretty standard, all things considered. Overlord's going to be sticking around just to make sure that nothing crazy goes on. Firefly would be one to cannon rush, so yeah, Scarlett just making sure that that is not going to be the case. As across the map, Firefly is going for that gate expand. Again, everything's looking quite normal here at the beginning of game one. Oh. Let's go. No one believes you're from Australia, mate. True. Aye. I've never set foot in America. I've not even the airport, Papi. Not even the airport. Oh. One day, I'll go there to die. I'll go there to eat all of their food. Like, their insane, like, food combos. That was always my favorite thing, casting with Yoda Slim and with Milk. There's some American Ducklings that I used to co-cast with. Nowadays, they're a little bit too busy for that sort of thing. But every other week, they would regale me with a tale of, like, I don't know, like, some weird, like, deep-fried hybrid monstrosity that they're eating over there, and it's like, oh, and they're like, yeah, it almost killed me. I'm like, oh, let's go. Aye. They want to take me to America and feed me. It'll be my last meal. It'll be beautiful. One day, I'm sure. To be honest, the one big reason for me to ever travel to America used to be BlizzCon. I would have loved to have gone to BlizzCon to experience the World Finals, but the World Finals isn't in BlizzCon anymore. It's like, oh, okay, I guess I don't have a big reason to go anymore. Smurge, Papi, Smurge. Otherwise, that would have been a really cool event to go to. Would have been really sick. Now it's in Poland. It's in Katowice. It's in Katowice. Before that, of course, we do have a game on our hands, and we have a very fast Roach Warren here from Scarlett. What was this? This was around a 4-minute 20 Roach Warren. Sorry, a 3-minute 20 Roach Warren. So very early on here, Scarlett is making an influx of Lings. Does she intend to drone, or is she going to go for an early Roach push? I'm feeling the latter there. I'm feeling the Roach push. Before that happens, Firefly did go for a standard Stargate opener. Is going to be first moving out with a handful of Adepts to poke and prod and to try and force a reaction out of Scarlett. And there will be a reaction, but maybe not the reaction that Firefly wants, because Scarlett is going to be going all in. We have a massive wave of Lings on the way. Roaches are soon going to be behind this as well. The Adepts are being forced back. They do shade back towards the other side of the map when the Oracles are going in. And interestingly enough, Scarlett is going back into droning, and she's actually not making use of this Roach Warren. It was a very early Roach Warren, but maybe it was a reactive one, just in case there were Glaive Adepts. I guess she would have access to Roaches. Interesting choice. Lings are flooding across the map, but we have a third base here, so I think Firefly is coming out ahead here in the openers. Like, Firefly went for a standard economic opener with the Stargate, and because Scarlett invested into all these Lings, and also into the Roach Warren as well, Firefly is going to be able to comfortably expand and be pretty efficient. Oh boy. As the Oracles dip in and get 3 more drone kills here, Scarlett desperately trying to re-drone after investing into her army earlier on. Do have that Baneling Nest on the way, and this is going to give Firefly a lot of freedom here. And to be fair, you know, with this kind of opener, he should have a lot of freedom anyway, just freedom to probe up. We should see a transition point soon as well. There it is. We do have that Twilight Council and the Forge for Blink and +1. Oh my god. Oh, as the Oracle barely escapes with 2 HP. Does get eyes on the 4th base. Oh, is going to delay that 4th base as well. Oh, by just a bit. But from here, Scarlett is going to be taking the rest of her gases as well. She's now investing into her roaches with roach speed. Is going to be going Lingbane, Roach Ravager, a very, very solid composition here in the mid game in ZvP. And to make up for her lack of 4th base, she's going to be double expanding as well. But before that happens, oh my god, this Oracle is going ham. 10 drones, 11 drones going down here. Ay. Ugh. And that droning that Scarlett did earlier, she's going to have to go back into droning as well. She also reacts with a Hydrogen. I'm really curious. So, Scarlett is going to be stuck droning for a little bit here just because she's lost so many workers already. I'm curious if initially she planned to go Lingbane, Roach Ravager, but now with that Hydrogen, she may be looking to slow the game down and tech into Lunkers. We'll see if that's the case, as before that happens, Firefly is going to be pushing out with his Blinkstalker army. We're forcing reaction out of Scarlett. We have Lings on the way, Roaches as well, as Firefly is setting up a proxy pylon to reinforce across the map. The push is starting. Scarlett desperately trying to make sure that these hatcheries get up and running so she can have access to that larva. Firefly going to be clearing up some of this creep as well. Oh, is barely going to get an Overlord. That will supply block Scarlett. Now is not the time to get supply block. We do have the Lynx coming in from behind here. They're going to be able to catch, almost catch one of those Stalkers. They will put Firefly on notice. The Oracles are going to be kept back. Lynx are going to be going for a counterattack instead. Nothing quite at home to defend though. We need a defensive warp in, and there it is, that the shield battery is going to go down. Same time, the Stalker army does take down the 5th base of Scarlett, but she double expanded, you know, kind of expecting one of these hatcheries to go down, so at least she has a 4th. Oh, Lings going for another counterattack, but the Oracles are back at home to defend. Scarlett stuck here at 66 drones, but that's all she needs. She's just going to be focusing on nothing but Ling Roach Ravager production. Unfortunately, this means that the tech that she invested in isn't really going to come into play. The Hydras and the Hydra speed that she made isn't really going to impact this game unless it goes on for longer, unless she does survive. See if she can pull that off. She's still making nothing but army. Baneling speed on the way as well, so she can go for those run-bys. Oh god, stasis traps are going to be going off on a lot of those Lings as well. We don't really have too many Stalkers though. Some of them are going to be going down. Oh, the pylon barely stands as well, but Firefly stands his ground. I'm a little bit shocked here. Throwing down another pylon. He doesn't want to give up this position. Meanwhile, Baneling Waddle by here is going to get into the mineral line, but +2 isn't done. Oh, +2 is still on the way, but this gateway is going to be shut down here. All these probes barely survive. Unana +2. Ay. Regardless, Scarlett now has the map control. At least she's been able to alleviate all that pressure from that proxy location. Is pushing on forward. Biles will take down the cannon. Ooh, but these Oracles are going ham here, focusing down as many of these Ravagers as possible. Oh, we'll lose one. Meanwhile, another Baneling Waterway here on the right-hand side is spotted by Firefly. Ooh, Firefly hyper aware now that, of course, these run-bys are a possibility from Scarlett. Soon she will have Baneling speed, so it's going to be a little bit easier to pull them off. But the Stalkers do move out to meet them, and now Firefly is saturating his 4th base. We have Disruptor production commencing. Double Disruptor, double Robo production. We're a little bit supply blocked, so we have 7 pylons on the way. Jesus. That's a lot of pylons, Poppy. That's a lot of pylons. And this supply block is going to be helping out Scarlett. Finally, she can invest into these Hydras that she was looking to do earlier. Infestation bits on the way for the Vipers as well. Unfortunately, this transition is a little bit late, so there's going to be a period here where these Disruptors are going to go uncontested. There's not going to be any Vipers to abduct and to threaten these Disruptors. Meanwhile, here we go. Ling Bane run by here towards that third base. Once again, the Stalkers are getting in position, but can they? Up! The Banelings, they won in! They won in. They will not manage to get into that mineral line, but at the same time, Scarlett pushes in towards that fourth base. The Banelings! They do find their connections. 19 probes go down the entire mineral line. Firefly defended one base, but not the other. We needed a little bit more attention towards the south. The disruptors are coming out, and with this, Firefly can hold, but this base is going to go down. Scarlett pulling Firefly apart right now. Firefly had the tools to defend, but didn't quite have the attention for it. Ooh, another disruptor goes down as well. Did get a decent connection in the end, but Firefly has lost so much. A base, a mineral line, a lot of his army as well. Firefly was doing such a good job at keeping up and even getting ahead against Scarlett, to be honest, with his aggression, with his ability to expand behind it. But now, Firefly is falling apart a little bit too much. Ooh, both disruptors go down. The Prism was a little bit too late to save it. And again, this is an army that you have to gain value over time with. You have to preserve over time and snowball. And Firefly has just been losing too much. Too many disruptors, too many stalkers, too much of everything. And now Scarlett is transitioning her composition into Ling Hydra. Ling Hydra Viper instead. Ling's coming in from multiple angles. Disruptors come in to support. They're going to force Scarlett back at least a little bit, but oh my god. Firefly barely has a standing army. Does get a good Nova off of those Lings, but hey, we can afford to lose these Lings. Behind this, Scarlett happily droned up to 89 workers. 4th, 5th up and running, 6th on the way. The Hive is now done, and now we have an answer to those disruptors. But to be honest, the disruptors, they haven't been too much of an issue. Every time we get a couple of Novas going on, Scarlett has been able to focus them down, has been able to reset the disruptor count time and time again. And now this is going to be the final push here of Firefly. Scarlett still needs a little bit of time to gather that energy on the Vipers, but the Vipers are now ready. Show us the yoinks. Up! Oh, never going to be going off, but there we go. The first disruptor goes down. GG gets called as soon as the Vipers are revealed. And Scarlett takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh, ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. I'm just catching up in the chat. It's okay, symptoms. Baby Ling, she is a bully. It's fine. It's I'm used to it. I'm used to it. Ay, ay, ay. I just made it in time for Scarlett game 1. Hello, Ashadi. Hello, welcome to the stream. He's the newest plat hero. We did hear that you made it in. Congratulations, Ashadi. Congratulations. Oh, but yeah. What quite a game number 1 there. I mean, it's honestly, shout out to Firefly. Despite the fact that he lost that game, he did have momentum going into the mid game. He was doing quite well and trading very well with his stalkers, with his pressure, defending quite well against the Baneling run-bys as well, up to a point though, Once we got Baneling speed, once we got +2 melee as well, Scarlett suddenly swung things in her favor. All the aggression that we saw from Scarlett was finally paying off. She was finally just pulling apart and breaking the defenses of Firefly. It took a while, but eventually his defenses did crumble. Oh. And with that, GG. She does put the first point on the board. 1 game away from moving on into the semi-finals. 1 game away. Meanwhile, Firefly needs to win the next game and then the one after that if he wants to make his way to those semis, where we have a couple of players waiting for them. It looks like we need a moment here for the players to prepare themselves. Also, oh, I should fix that. Scarlett is not random. There we go. Scarlett is Zerg. There we go. The lobby is being made. Just making sure everyone gets in. And having all the bracket, it looks like the entire quarterfinals is ready for us. So just for some quick updates. Oh my god. Percival took down Hon Mono 2-1. Ay. Yeah, really impressive by Percival. I mean, it would have been an amazing TVT, to be honest. Like, hyper aggression, just high octane TVT between Percival and Hon Mono. My condolences to Hon Mono, as he is going to be eliminated from this tournament. But again, I'm sure we're going to see more of Hon Mono later on in the evening in GPO. Meanwhile, some other updates. Dark did 2-0 Patches. To be expected, Patches again is more of an amateur player. And DRG did 2-0 Triple. And is now facing Nice in the quarterfinals. You love to see it. You love to see it. And here we go, spawning. In the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have the Chinese Protoss player representing the Starving Camels, representing Team SSLT. Currently down in this series, but fighting back. It is Firefly. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have his opponent. We have the Canadian Zerg player representing Shopify Rebellion, currently leading this series 1-0. It is Scarlett. Here we go. Oh, and yeah, we did see the last game. We saw some pretty standard openers all around. Scarlett did set herself behind, and I feel like that kind of led towards why Firefly had so much pressure being put on Scarlett in the mid game. Was Scarlett was having a hard time keeping up with the Oracle harassment, but also invested quite a bit into Lings and that early Roach Warren as well. Things that she never really was able to make full use of, unfortunately, just because I'm pretty sure she assumed that Firefly had gone for a Twilight Council opener, and she was a little bit bamboozled by what Firefly was showing her and what he was revealing. And I did kind of force this reaction out of her. So hopefully she's able to, again, make sure that doesn't happen again. Maybe be a little bit more on top of the scouting to confirm exactly the opener that Firefly is going for. And I'm curious if Firefly is going to play with that a little bit. Game 1, of course, went for a Stargate. Here in Game 2, wouldn't be a bad choice to switch things up and go for a Twilight Council. Oh, we shall see. Scarlett dips in with her Overlord, just confirming the opener once again. Just a gate expand overall here from Firefly. Nothing too crazy. And likewise, just a hatch gas pool from Scarlett as well. We should be seeing the third hatchery promptly as well. And as soon as this Hypercore finishes up, we should be seeing our tech of choice. We do have a prioritization of Warp Gate, and we see our tech. It's going to be that Twilight Council. So Firefly is going to be mixing things up here. And what exactly is he going to be using with this as well? We'll keep an eye on the gas count as well. Are we going to go into Glaives, or are we going to go into something a little bit differently? We could go into a Dark Shrine, as we still don't have additional gates being thrown down. We haven't pulled out of gas either, so this should be a bit more of a commitment here. I'd be surprised. Oh, there we go. We pull out of gas towards the end. We do have it Glaives on the way, but this is a little bit different, actually. It's going to be 3-gate Glaives, 4-gate Glaives, but no Robo. We don't have a Robo. We're not going to have a Prism available, so we're going to be warping in Glaives back at home and just sending them across the map instead. 4 gates is quite committed, but because we haven't invested into that Robo, it's possible that we're going to be expanding behind this. I'm curious. I'm very curious to see how this plays out. Here we go. So a very different variation out of Firefly. Meanwhile, the overlords of Scarlett and the Lings as well are doing the best they can to try and scout this out. They're going to confirm the third base is on the way. So it does kind of look like a Stargate opener here. Adepts are moving out to make sure this stands strong. Scarlett does go for a safety 4-minute Roach Warren, much later than last game, which is a good thing. Definitely, as we're going to be droning up as well, not really making too many Lings, but now the Lings are on the way. So Firefly wants to try to catch Scarlett. It sounds weird to say when it's referring to Scarlett. Scarlett with her pants down, Scarlett with being a little bit unawares here, as these Adepts are going to be a bit of a surprise. Lings move out, but mate, we want to fight Lings. Adepts, they're going to be able to shave off quite a number of them as we shade across the map. 4 roaches are on the way immediately here. Immediately as well, Scarlett does evacuate and pull away from that third base. She knows that she cannot hold on to it and doesn't want to try to. So far, good reactions. Oh, we have a wall being set up as well. The Adepts are going to try and shade on through. The wall doesn't finish in time. The Adepts do make it into the main base, but we have an army. Scarlett was able to buy enough time for those roaches to come out. Behind this, though, again, Firefly isn't very committed, is going to be saturating that third. The problem, though, if Firefly loses too many of these Adepts, it's going to trigger a counterattack, and Firefly doesn't have anything else to defend at home. There is no Stargate, there is no Robo, there is no nothing, no Immortal Production or Disruptors. So these Adepts, they have to survive. And already, a lot of roaches are going down. Firefly is trading surprisingly well here with his Adepts, and now we have more to reinforce. Isn't getting economic damage, but doesn't really need it. Does get one drone, does get a second drone as well. Oof. Do you see the roaches going to be meeting up with this, but the Adepts are going to be threatening a shade. Nice full wall here from Scarlett, making sure that there is no way into the natural. And Scarlett is now free to drone. We do see the worker counts pretty similar between our players, so honestly, Firefly is ahead economically right now, but Scarlett is going to be free to drone up from here. We have our lair on the way for roach speed. We have +1 range as well. Scarlett just going to be counterattacking with what links she has available. Nothing too crazy. And things will settle from this point, and even though Firefly is ahead economically, it's also one of those things where he's behind tech-wise. We have Blink on the way, sure, but we're just now starting up our Robo, and again, a big roach-based push. If it were to hit, we're not going to have Immortals, we're not going to have Disruptors, we're going to be relying on a pure Gateway army, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We just don't really have a lot of it at the moment. We're just going to be focusing our Warp-ins here on Stalkers as much as we can. Here we go, the Lings are going to confirm that. They do confirm the Stalker transition coming out from Firefly. So nicely done by Scarlett. So, 4th base on the way. And yeah, it looks like Firefly is just going to assume the defensive role. Of course, being active with these Adepts wherever he can. But for the most part, is going to be focusing on probing. We have a second Robo on the way for double Disruptor production. We're going to have that Bay as well for the Disruptors. It's just, unfortunately, Firefly has to, in a way, relinquish map control for a while, and with that map control, Scarlett is free to just spread as much creep as possible, get that 4th hatchery on the way, all those upgrades as well, and really just assert herself here on this map. Unfortunately, the opener of Firefly, I'm sure, was maybe looking to do a little bit more economic damage to set Scarlett a little bit further behind. Because that wasn't the case, like, Scarlett has a pretty terrifying army. And again, by the time she hits, we're going to have 2 Disruptors. Is that going to be enough? There we go, Roach Speed finishing up in a couple of seconds, 15 seconds away from finishing. See Firefly trying to assume a defensive position here onto the high ground. We have 1 shield battery on the way, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. We'll need more than just 1. Bold move from Firefly as well. We're moving out for a Disruptor drop. Oh boy. Does mean that they won't be at home to defend. Scarlett setting up a bit of a counterattack here on the right-hand side. Is going to be spotted by that pylon. God, that's a lot of creep. And even with 2 Novas, only half of the tumors go down. Here we go, that Ling run by being set up. Firefly backing off once again, just fortifying himself here on these 4 bases. Scarlett not looking to actually press in yet, just taking up even further. I really respect this. The disruptors just revealed themselves, so Scarlett has an option. She can push in right now when she's maxed, and she probably will because she is maxed. Disruptors are dropped here, don't get an overoff. But she's taking up for that. She's getting ready for that next step, and here we go. The first disruptor goes down. The second Nova does go off. But we have a hive on the way already, so Scarlett is working up towards those Vipers. She recognizes that she will need them as the game goes on longer. Before that happens though, again, she is maxed out. She's going to have to trade out some of these roaches. They are inflating her supply quite a bit here. The Lings as well, to make room for those Vipers. Ooh. Scarlett does spot that observer. Quite able to snipe it in the end. Does force it back. Scarlett looking for another opening at the same time, setting up another Bane run by here on the right hand side. Oh, does get spotted by the Adepts, so the Adepts go down. Aye. We do have disruptors on the way. This would be really good pickups for Scarlett. Up, can she get them? She's gonna get one. The other is going to survive though. Baneling's rolling on into that mineral line, but we do have a reaction out of Firefly. At the same time, roaches are breaking into the natural. Again, a really great way of throwing away these roaches. Like, these have kind of run out of their usefulness over time. We need to trade efficiently with them, and how better than to pick up probes. Meanwhile, we did have a disruptor drop across the map. Only 4 workers going down. Only 4. And as things settle, Scarlett now has her hive. We have Adrenal on the way. Her army's just getting more and more high quality over time. Fireflies is a little bit as well, sure, but I don't really know how much stock I put into these disruptors as the game goes on. Oh my god. Oh. As another disruptor goes down. I'm really worried here because Scarlett hasn't made any Vipers yet. Oh no, never mind. She's got him ready to go. Just trading out as much Ling Bane as possible. Getting some good connections here overall. Taking down more disruptors. And behind this, the Vipers have been gathering that energy back at home. They're both topped up, ready to go. Greater Spire on the way. Because why the hell not? Part of me would kind of like to see Scarlett yoink the Prism into sport range. But there are better things to do here, and here we go. The yoinks are coming in. The disruptors are all going to be going down. One Nova goes off, but only a singular Nova as Scarlett remaxes. Do we have any disruptors left? We have one left, and it's in the Prism. Not where it really needs to be. Oof. And there is that power bomb on the Prism. Prism is going to be going down. The disruptor is stuck in the main. At the same time, Firefly is going to be moving forward with his gateway-focused army. Can trade quite well here. The base is looking to go down. Baileys will find their connections with these cells, but what about the Stalkers? God, Adrenal Lings are insane. Oh my god, not even +2 melee, but regardless, Lings do so much against these Stalkers. The hatchery will fall alongside every single drone here, but Scarlett can afford some of these losses. It's okay. I say that, her worker count wasn't amazing to begin with. Oh, but the army was reset. Firefly trying to take his own 5th behind this. What we lack in workers, we make up for in tech, as we have 4 Broodlords on the way. Oof. And I feel like the Broodlords are going to be the nail in the coffin. Like, there's no answer to them. There's no Sky Toss. We have Blink Stalkers, sure, but we have a ground army large enough to support them. So Scarlett has just been able to take up to this ideal anti-ground toss composition. I mean, sure, we could do with some more Broodlords, but we have some anyway. It's okay. Don't need too many of them. And Firefly, after all said and done, is forced to back off once again, still struggling to rebuild the army that he just lost. Another disruptor drop is being sent out. I don't know how I feel about that, but okay. Ooh. So Zealots are cleaned up towards the south. Disruptors head towards those mineral lines once again. Oh! Not the best Nova's just focusing on killing those workers instead. Does get 8 drones, I suppose. Oh. And yeah, it looks like Scarlett is just focusing on more Broodlord production. 8 more Corruptors are on the way. All of them, I imagine, soon to be morphed into Broodlords. We haven't really seen too much Ling Bane run-bys, and a lot of that is because we haven't had +2 melee. Meanwhile, more Novas! Ooh. Taking down a couple more of those workers. Corruptors are now out though, so the Prism is going to go down. And honestly, now would have been, I know we've been focusing a lot on what Scarlett has been taking up towards. Honestly, now would have been a really good opportunity for Firefly to, it would have been risky, but to maybe throw down a Fleet Beacon, maybe throw down or a Stargate to begin with, I'm sure. But to start to transition into Sky Toss, without it, it's going to be a tough ask. He's going for some DT harass, though. This is going to buy him some time. This is going to once again eat into the economy of Scarlett, as we have DTs in every single base. Zealot run by towards the south as well. Scarlett is being pulled apart. She may have a powerful army, but I can't say the same about her workers. And here we go. Firefly is moving out. I don't believe he has spotted those Broodlords. And even though Firefly is close to maxing out, a lot of this doesn't shoot up. The Disruptors, the Colossi, they don't really help here against the Broodlords. The Stalkers are going to look for an opening, but they have to be very careful about how they engage. Yeah, as the Broodlords just force this back. As soon as the Broodlords are revealed, there's that Stargate. I guess that was the big thing that Firefly was missing this game, was scouting the Broodlords. I'm sure if he saw them earlier, we would have seen a transition to Sky Toss. Now, this Stargate is late. It's very late here, and by the time we start a Fleet Beacon, by the time we start carriers or Void Rays or anything in the sky, I mean, by that time, Scarlett's going to be the one moving out across the map. Zealot Run-By, though, is going to be able to take down a hatchery here towards the south. It is something. There's that Sky Toss transition. 2 more Stargates, and the Fleet Beacon is on the way. Firefly just has to make sure he doesn't lose this army. He just has to survive. Survive long enough to make those carriers. We'll see if we can. +1 air attack on the way as well. Firefly taking more bases. Throughout all of this is a scary thing. Scarlett has been hyper-focused on refining this army, and hey, she's getting Broodlord Infestor. Like, her army is becoming, like, the best army that she can make. But Firefly's economy has been left alone. There's been no run-bys, there's been no harassment. Firefly has slowly been expanding and being able to get an economy to sustain himself quite well. And there we go, the Tempests are on the way, not carriers. A little bit more efficient, you love to see it. And he just keeps going for these Zealot run-bys, and they just keep finding damage. And now I'm starting to worry here for Scarlett, because she hasn't been moving out. I mean, she's waiting for her Infestors, I'm sure, but you know, at a certain point, maybe being a little bit too defensive, I don't know. Oh, we do have a fungal here on some of these Stalkers. Nova's going to be going off, just cleaning up the Broodlords. Sorry, Broodlings. Cleaning up what they can. We're only making 1 Tempest at a time. Oh. Can't really afford too much else because we're investing so much into these run-bys. Abusing how slow this Broodlord army is. We got plenty of lead main to defend there. It's so good. Oh, the storms! Oh god! Scarlett, she's not looking! Oh my god, and we have massive storms into the mineral line. The entire drone count. 19 drones go down. Ay, ay, ay. This is scary. Like, Scarlett, this is her most important mining base right now. She just doesn't really have much mining going on elsewhere. This is dangerous. Oh. She still has a pretty insane army, to be fair, but I'm worried because she's not getting ready for Sky Toss herself. She has no anti-air. Every single Corruptor has been morphed into a Broodlord. And I mean, we haven't revealed Tempest yet, but the Tempests are slowly banking up back at home. We're getting more and more Tempest. Another Zealot Rumba here on the right-hand side, trying to focus on the hatchery. We have a lot of transfuses to keep it alive. Is it going to be enough? Up, up. Oh, the transfuses barely keep it up. Oh my god, as Firefly takes his forward base, one of Scarlett's bases. And I think we're going to be seeing an ace match here. It's going to be tough, but these Tempests are soon about to reveal themselves. Scarlett had no idea, and she is not prepared at all. Oh boy. I mean, to be fair, she's got Infestors. She's about to have Neural as well. She can take control of those Tempests. That is an answer. That is a way through. It's all about the Spellcasters, the Vipers, and the Infestors. And here we go. Powerbomb on said Tempest. Are going to be forcing Firefly back. At the same time, we do have a Zealot run by. More Corruptors are on the way. I feel like at this point, Scarlett has to be making nothing but Corruptors. I say that these Tempests get pretty weakened up, pretty softened up by the Power Bombs. And here we go, Fungals as well. Can we get the chain Fungal Power Bomb? Ooh, a big chunk of Firefly's army going down. Oof. Oh my god, and that's what we needed. We have another Fungal on every single Tempest. We need to split, Poppy, split. Oh, we're not. Oh god, those Tempests are taking so much damage. And at this point, we don't need that many Corruptors. These Tempests are so softened up. We have another Fungal. Ay, ay, ay. No shield batteries to support. The lack of splits is killing Firefly. Who needs Corruptors, man? We don't need them. We don't even need them, mate. Ay, ay, ay. We have 10 Corruptors on the field, soon to be 13. And with how softened up these Tempests are, like, again, this is going to be manageable for Scarlett. She's going for a run by as well. A lot of pros being caught up here. Another massive Fungal on the entire army. Oh my god. Storms are going to zone away, but we're running out of Storms. And here we go. The Corruptors, they just don't care. They can pick off these Tempests one after another. Finally, we have some shield batteries though. Like, these shield batteries were necessary here to support the army of Firefly. Oof. Oh my god. An Archon going down immediately. We need more Archons, and yeah, because that Firefly is being forced all the way back, Scarlett is perfectly fine. Fungals once again those Tempests, and every single Tempest is going to go down. Oof. Things looking scary. I was really concerned there for Scarlett, losing Mineral Lines, suffering to all these Zealot and DT run-bys, which are continuing, by the way. They just don't stop. But her main army was always solid, was always top tier. Brewlord, Infestor, Viper. Now with Corruptors. She may be losing some of these southern bases, but she is winning the big fights. The fights that matter. Oh. And now Firefly just doesn't really have much left here. He comes in, picks up a Broodlord. That's nice. It's something. And hey, the Zealots have been doing a lot across the map as well. 15 drones go down, and the hatchery as well. The economy of both players are pretty scrappy, to be honest. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel on that forward hatchery as well. But Scarlett still has how many Broodlords? 16 Broodlords, 6 Infestors, 1 Viper. Everything we need. And that Tempest count is something that we're not gonna see that high again. It's something that you build up over time, and you can't lose any. It's just far too many were lost. We have the Fungals being thrown down. Storms are gonna try and blanket the Corruptors, but GG gets called, and Scarlett, after a long, hard-fought game, takes game number 2 and the series 2-0. GG. Oh, which button is it? Is it this one? Yeah. GG, well played. Congratulations to Scarlett as she does take the 2-0 win. Oh, And yeah, she's able to move on to the semifinals. Shout out to Firefly though, because in both games he had his own advantages. In game 1, he was getting a lot of momentum with his Blinkstalker pressure. So we announced the scores in the chat. But yeah, Firefly did look quite strong in the first half of game 1, and in game 2 as well. Like, hiding that Skytoss transition was also really smart of him to do, and did catch Scarlett unaware. She was not expecting that at all. But the late game army control is where Firefly was really lacking. He had really great Zealot and DT run bys. Like he was relentless with the counterattacks. But when it came to the main army, just the lack of splitting, the lack of finesse that is required for that kind of army wasn't there for Firefly, and Scarlett was able to pull him apart. GG. Well played. Well played.